The Giants are going to be losing a lot. Every week they're going to be losing. Money, we're going to Super Bowl. Shit. How you doing? King Dingbat here. Now, before I get into the Eagles' defensive preview, I have a few things I have to talk about. Now, the first thing is, I've had a lot of people ask me my opinion on Connor Barwin to the New York Giants. Now, to my surprise, there's a lot of Eagle fans that were kind of upset at this. They kind of felt like betrayed, he shouldn't have gone to a rival, that kind of thing. Now, me personally, I don't care. I could care less that he went. You know why? Because we know how to run on him. We know how to pass on him, and we're going to manhandle him. He ain't going to help them. Connor Barwin will give the Giants no more wins. He'll add no more wins. Now, he's a great locker room guy, and the Giants should have gone and got him. They should have. They need a good locker room guy. Okay, you're going to need a good locker room guy, somebody that can help the young guys when you keep losing. The Giants are going to be losing a lot. Every week they're going to be losing, and the young guys are going to be crying and sad and hurt. And he needs to be in that locker room to help all those people get over the losing, because there's going to be a ton of losing for the Giants. So they made the right choice in getting Connor Barwin, a great guy, a great locker room guy, because he can deal with all the losing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is a segment that I had last year. Now, I had a segment last year, and some people have asked me to bring it back. So by request, I am bringing back again Season 2 of Battle of the Canes. That's right, Battle of the Canes Season 2 is here. Now, last year Brandon Marshall won it. I tried to send him the cane. He didn't want it. So this year, we're going to do it again. Now, I have 2 guys locked in. I'm looking for 1 to 2 more players in the NFC East. They have to be old players. And, you know, if they're on the Redskins, Giants, or Cowboys, and you have a request, let me know. But I'm looking for 1 to 2 more older players to join the Battle of Canes. Eli Manning is in it. And I'd like to introduce Connor Barwin into Battle of the Canes this year. That's right, Connor Barwin, Eli Manning, and we're looking for a few more. So any requests for Battle of Canes Season 2, let me know. So the 2 most important moves I thought this offseason for the Eagles came on the defensive side of the ball. The first one, and most important in my opinion, was re-signing Nigel Bradham. I thought he had to be signed, and they brought him back, and I'm glad about it. The second was the trade they made for Michael Bennett. Now, this is a great move, and this shows how the Eagles think. They recognize that their defensive line is probably the best defensive line unit in football, okay? And they know that that defensive line unit makes everybody behind them better. And instead of just saying, we're happy with what we have, they said, nah, we're going to improve it. And they bring in Michael Bennett, who is a vast upgrade over Vinny Curry, who also can do more than Vinny Curry. What do I mean? Well, think about this. Say you have 3rd and long, you have passing situations. You can slide Michael Bennett inside with Fletcher Cox. Then you have Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham, Chris Long. You have guys on the outside. That is a great rush, and it's very hard for teams to stop, especially in passing situations. Michael Bennett is a disruptor. Michael Bennett is a huge upgrade over Vinny Curry, no doubt about it. Now, Derek Barnett is in his 2nd year. He has been everything everybody thought he could be. He shocked me. I didn't realize he was that good, and I'm very happy how good he is. Then you have Brandon Graham, who does want a new contract, and we'll get into that in another video, but he'll be back this year. You have Chris Long back, and those defensive ends, they're going to wreak havoc, you know. And then, of course, you have the stud Fletcher Cox in the inside. The Eagles go out and they bring in Haloti Ngata, and the Eagles are much improved. Now, what concerns me about the defensive line going into this season is the Timmy Jernigan injury. I think he's out till like late October, November, but I've heard some things, and I'm not sure if it's true or not, that he may be out longer. We'll have to wait and see. But people are going to have to step up in his absence, because with him and Fletcher Cox last year, they were brutal. So you're going to have Ngata, Qualls, one of those guys, they're going to have to step up until Jernigan comes back. But this defensive line unit going into this season is the best in football as a whole, as a group, as a rotation, no doubt about it. So during this preseason, you're not going to see a lot of Michael Bennett or Brandon Graham, a lot of those guys. So if you want to watch the defensive line, watch two guys, Steven Means and Josh Sweat. Now, Steven Means has been with the Eagles a few years. He's very big disruptor. He's had great preseasons before. Watch him. I love the kid. The second guy, Josh Sweat, is a rookie, and by all accounts, he has all-world talent. He had a really bad knee injury in his past, and it kind of slowed him up. And apparently, he's healthy, he's 100%, and everybody seems to think that he can make an impact for the Eagles this year. So keep your eye on those two guys on the defensive line. Now, the position that I hear most Eagle fans worried about is the linebacker position. They're worried because we cut Michael Kendricks. They think we're kind of thin, and people feel like, we need to go out and bring in another linebacker. Now, I kind of see it a little differently. I don't think the Eagles need to go out and bring in another linebacker just to have another linebacker or another body. I think the Eagles are kind of okay with what they have. Just by getting Jordan Hicks back this year, you automatically improve your linebacking position. With him, Nigel Bradham, you're set to go. One thing to remember about the linebacking position is the Eagles play a lot of two linebackers. They like to play a lot of two linebackers back at once. They don't blitz them a lot. And for what the Eagles do, having Bradham and Hicks, they'll be fine. I think Corey Nelson is a better fit for the Eagles scheme than Michael Kendricks was. Michael Kendricks was very good at blitzing, and you saw him struggle when Jordan Hicks went out. But I think Corey Nelson could come in and fill in if he needs to. I also like Kruger Hill. He's a very athletic kid. We remember him kicking off in the Dallas game. That was crazy. But I expect him to improve this year too, and I think he'll be fine. Joe Walker, we'll see. We'll see if Joe Walker can make the team, but he's also on the squad. And I'm not opposed to the Eagles getting another linebacker or making another move for a linebacker. We'll get into that more in part 4. But from what the Eagles have right now, where we at going into training camp, I think with the addition of Jordan Hicks back, I think the Eagles linebacking has improved. Now the safety position, I think there's going to be one hell of a battle there. I mean, we got Malcolm Jenkins, we got Rodney McLeod, and we know what they can do. They're locks to make this team, okay? But there's only 2 spots, I think, that are going to be left over, and I think there's 3 guys who possibly could get this. Now, we all know Chris Maragos. He's coming off injury. He's a little older of a player, a special team standout. I don't think he's a lock to make this team. I think he probably goes in to the training camp as your 3rd safety, but I think he could get challenged. I mean, Trey Sullivan is a guy that I love. I loved him last year in preseason, and I can't wait to see what a year of development is going to show for him. I think he's a very good young prospect, and it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. Then you have the rookie Jeremy Reaves. Now, I keep hearing a lot about Jeremy Reaves. I hear he's the best coverage safety behind Jenkins. I'm hearing he's turning heads at OTAs, and he's a hard hitter. So he's going to be a very interesting guy to watch. I can't wait to see him. Now, he was an unrestricted free agent signing, so it'll be pretty cool. Now, there's another kid. I believe he's from Auburn, Stephen Roberts. I don't know a ton about him. I know that from what I heard and what I've read, that he comes from a good coaching staff that does a great job with their secondary. So in the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I'm going to say that I would think Trey Sullivan and Jeremy Reaves make this team. And I think Maragos may be on the out because he's older, because he's coming back from injury, and that's just my guess. But safety position is going to be very interesting to see. So one of the positions I'm super excited about is the cornerback situation. And the reason I'm so excited about it is because over the last few years, we haven't had great cornerback play at all. It's been an Achilles heel for us. But we've put together some young guys who played and got tons of experience last year, went through the playoffs, and won a Super Bowl. I mean, Ronald Darby came over during training camp from Buffalo. He got hurt, missed a bunch of games, came back, played. He wasn't great all the time, but, he made some big interceptions at big moments. And then Jalen Mills, I thought he played a lot better than he did his rookie year. I thought he improved. I mean, he bit on a lot of double moves, but I think he got better, and I think he's still getting better. And I think Darby, with a whole off season with the Eagles, I think he'll be better. So these guys are young guys that have had Super Bowl winning experience. You can't teach that. And these guys are going to come in confident and ready to go. Then you have to remember, in 2017 draft, Sidney Jones was a top 10 talent. Top 10 talent. Okay? He gets hurt. He drops to the second round. We get him. We let him basically sit out the whole year, which was a smart move. And now he's ready to go at 100%. So he is going to be so fun to watch because I think he has all-world talent. I really do. Now, here's the thing with the Eagles and the secondary. Last offseason, the biggest loss we had was Patrick Robinson. He was our slot corner. He was tremendous. And losing him to the New Orleans Saints definitely hurt. Now, if we would have signed him, we would have lost Nigel Bradham because I don't think we could have both. So I think the Eagles made the right move. And there's a lot of talks and there's a lot of rumors that they're going to play Sidney Jones in the slot, or at least test him out there. So that will be very interesting. I think Sidney Jones could play in the slot. I think he could play on the outside. I think he could play everywhere. But, you know, that slot corner position is the position that the Eagles need to make sure they have set to go during the season. The guy who may get the first crack at the starting nickel position is Devontae Bosby. By all accounts, he's been fantastic in OTAs. He's been turning heads, not only during OTAs, but last year during practice and getting the team ready to play. He was everywhere. He's played great. He's a very competitive person, and they took him from the outside, moved him inside, and he's been playing really good. And I think the Eagles want to give him the first crack to win that slot corner position. We're going to have to see. But I'm very excited to see this kid. I'm probably more excited and more curious about Devontae Bosby than anybody. Now, he was an undrafted free agent with the Kansas City Chiefs. Then he played in 2016. He was with the Bears. Then he came over to the Eagles. So I can't wait to see this kid play. It's a new position for him, but I definitely think he's going to get first crack at it, you know. And, you know, the Eagles could do a lot of things here. They could put Jalen Mills at the slot. They could put Sidney Jones. They could do a lot of things, but I think Devontae Bosby, I'm very excited about him. I think he definitely gets first crack at it, you know. And there's some other interesting guys on this secondary. I mean, Rasul Douglas played really well for a rookie, and I think he's only going to be better. Now, me personally, I said this before. I think Rasul Douglas could be a top 5 safety in this league if they would move him to the safety position. I like Rasul Douglas that much. And he's only going to get better this year, and it only adds to the depth of this cornerback group, and it's going to be great. And then we can't forget they drafted Avonte Maddox, a speed kid from Pittsburgh who's a little bit undersized. I think they want him in a slot eventually, but he may be a year away from it. But he can do special teams from what I hear. He's very fast, and, you know, he'll be out there competing for a job too. So it's going to be interesting. But when I look at this cornerback situation, when I look at the whole secondary, I think this is one of the strong points for the Philadelphia Eagles going into the 2018 season. It's going to be really, really interesting, and it's going to be some hard cuts to make, which we'll get to in part 3, the next part of this video, which will probably be, you know, not tomorrow and not Thursday. Probably be either, well, Thursday or Friday. I'll probably put a video out with my 53-man roster prediction. But basically, that's how I see the defense going into this season. A much improved defense, and I'm very excited. So tell me what you think. What guys are you excited about watching on defense this preseason? With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Don't be a dingbat.